Hi, welcome everyone to PopCultX. I forgot the episode, sorry.
Episode 89.
All right.
It's okay. We can leave that in, a little blooper reel.
Yeah, let's make Gabe look dumb.
Well, that's what bloopers are for, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome everyone to PopCultX, episode 89. Good week for pop cult news. Let's go ahead and get into it with myself, Gabriel, and Danny with us every week. So the big thing that has kind of been on my mind this week is the Critics' Choice Awards were yesterday. So I have the winners listed here. The big thing for me was seeing that Everything Everywhere All at Once was getting the recognition that it deserves. So they won Best Picture. I'll just go through different categories here, but Brendan Fraser won for The Whale.
Oh, cool.
Best actress was Cate Blanchett. Best supporting actor was Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And Angela Bassett won for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. That's kind of weird. I didn't know they had a best young actor or actress, but
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he won. And then Best Acting Ensemble was Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. Best Director, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I was really happy with those. I really, really loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think like everyone that has seen it, it's sort of a breath of fresh air with all the Marvel movies that we are, subject to. Maybe some of the more, just run-of-the-mill movies. This one really kind of thought outside of the box. So I thought I was really excited. Michelle Yeoh did not win for Best Actress here, but she did win for at the Golden Globe. So I'm glad to see she did get recognition for acting because it was pretty incredible. Speaking of her, I saw a really great clip of her being interviewed on David Letterman like many years back and being talking about Jackie Chan. And he says, did he bring you into these kind of movies talking about like martial arts action films? And she says, well, actually, like, it's funny. He's actually a chauvinist and prefers for women not to be involved. And the audience is just like shocked. And she's like, yeah. And he kind of makes a joke about it, but then he kind of keeps on and says, well, he does all his own stunts. And she's like, yeah, so do I. And it was a kind of, it reminded me of why I like her so much. I mean, she's really cool. She does her own stunts. She's a great actress. She's beautiful. She's gracious. And so I was really glad to see that she's getting that recognition with the Golden Globe win.
Yeah.
The other person that I'm glad to see that he's kind of on his comeback is Brendan Fraser. I haven't yet seen The Whale. I actually saw the play itself.
Oh, really?
I'm kind of familiar with it based off of the play that I saw. I haven't seen it yet, just because like I haven't really been in the mood for something that heavy to actually go and watch that. And however, I revisited one of his like classic movies this weekend, which is School Ties. He's kind of an actor that had consistently been doing like really great work that was like, really popular. He was really on the top of the game, and a lot of stuff happened that kind of pulled him out of the limelight, pulled him out from actively being an actor. And so I'm glad that he's back. He looks like happy, like rejuvenated, and happy to be back into the Hollywood community, if you will. And I'm really glad because he is really, so I mean, pretty much all of his movies that I've watched, I really like. They're all really great. Not, I don't think he's like you would consider him an actor in the sense of like Robert De Niro or Anthony Hopkins, but he's just like a really good, consistent actor. That's not necessarily over the top, like, but I really respect his work and I like him. He's just very charismatic and likable.
Yeah, very true. And it's interesting you say that he was pulled out because I watched the Hollywood Report, I think it's called, has an actors roundtable, right, where they get a bunch of famous actors around a table and they get interviewed, and they feed off each other and answer questions. So this one I saw had Austin Butler, Colin Farrell, Adam Sandler, Brendan Fraser, Jeremy Pope, and Ke Huy Quan as well. So it was interesting to hear, because he asked the interview gentleman, asked him and Kai, I think it's how you pronounce it, what led to you being away from Hollywood for so long? And they gave their answers. And it was interesting to hear what brought them back in. It was that hunger, that desire, and that ambition is what really was the motivating factor to get them back into acting. So I thought that was really cool. Jeremy Pope, who I was not familiar with, he comes from a Broadway scene, and now he's making his, I don't know if it's his film debut, but in one called The Inspection. But he gave an answer to what was the best piece of advice you've ever been given. And he said this came from his therapist, and I thought it was just really great. He said, basically, you got to look at your highs and lows like a heartbeat, right? So there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows, and which is good in life, because if it's flatlined, no highs and lows, you're dead, right? So I thought that was really interesting and a good way to look at it as life, because there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. So, yeah, there you go.
I agree with that. That's a great quote. One of my favorite quotes as far as like experiencing life or like taking the highs with the lows is from Parenthood, when the grandmother walks in on them and Steve Martin character is kind of complaining about, I can't take this, all these highs, and she gives like the metaphor of like going, up on a roller coaster and down, and like the down part is the fun part. And it's such a cute, like she's such a cute like little but it's also sort of one of those instances where like really great wisdom comes from an unexpected source, even though, you would expect an old person. But this character, the family didn't really pay attention to her as someone that would have that sort of advice. But that always sticks into my mind when I think about like, the highs and lows or the ups and downs.
Right. First thing I think of Parenthood is the little song they sing about diarrhea, right?
Yeah, that's something.
There's that too.
Classic movie, and the I love the ensemble cast of that. Like they have like Keanu Reeves was in it, Steve Martin,
right.
Just like a ton of Jason Robards, and that reminds me of getting back to the People's Choice Awards is the best ensemble cast for Glass Onion. Such a great cast. Like no one overshadowed anyone. Right. They all just did a ridiculously great job. I loved everyone. Like everyone had time to shine, and everyone had such great roles. Like they were all just kind of interesting. And obviously, because it's a murder mystery, you're trying to find out what the motivation of the killer would be. But such a good cast. Like I'm glad that they won, because I love to see actors who are willing to share the spotlight with such a big cast, knowing that they're not going to be like the main character. Yet still pull in like a top-notch performance.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even the cast or the characters who didn't have as much screen time, they still stood out, and they were still allowed to shine, which I think is a testament to both Rian Johnson's writing and directing style.
Yeah, agreed.
I see you left off in the Critics' Choice Award, the best movie made for television. Conveniently left that off.
Not purposefully, but what was it?
That was the Weird Al movie won that.
Oh, wow.
The Al Yankovic story from the Roku channel won the best movie made for television. So I thought that was really cool, really fun. I mean, I liked it a lot. That movie's just, right into my wheelhouse of my humor and everything. So kudos to Weird Al.
I forgot about that, and I still have to watch it. The other thing is that is kind of I'm glad that happened is Ruth E. Carter won for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever for best costume design.
Oh, nice.
It was just great. I mean, I obviously have talked about how much of a fan I am of that movie, but the costumes and the design of them were so cool. They make everyone look really, really cool and like superheroes. So
it comes out on Disney Plus on January 20th. So I'm looking forward to finally seeing it. Yeah. And Angela Bassett won both the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice. So it's the first time a person from a superhero movie has won this sort of level of award, I guess. So kudos to her. Hopefully it'll continue on as we get into the award season. So hopefully it goes more and more.
Yeah, it definitely is a well-deserved. She does a great job of playing the Queen of Wakanda, and having to deal with the trauma of losing her son, and then the events that happen throughout the movie. So she's an awesome actress. She's great. She's an icon legend for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Were there any surprises before we move on? I guess. Sorry.
Looking at not really. I mean, it's all. I mean, I'm not surprised that Avatar won for like special effects and things of that nature. Zendaya won for Euphoria, Best Actress in a Drama Series. So that's really cool. I like her a lot, and I love that show for Euphoria. Let's see, did Euphoria win for Best Drama? No, they did not. That's something that we haven't really talked about, I think, because it's not. I think we talk like basically a little bit about Euphoria, about being our age and what our kids dealing with in high school right now. And if it's being real. I saw a movie with her real life love interest. I forgot his name. The second that I said it, it popped out of my head. It's called Cherry with Tom Holland, or now I can remember his name. And it's actually really good. I ordered the book because I want to read the book that it's based off of. It's actually about this young man that kind of directionless, so meets a girl in college. They kind of hit it off. At one point, she gets scared and says that she's leaving. So on a like kind of just a spur of the moment, he decides to join the army. She changes her mind and stays, but he goes to the army, experiences super traumatic events in Afghanistan, comes back and has horrific post-traumatic stress disorder, becomes a drug addict and starts robbing banks. It's a really interesting film. It's really the reason why Zendaya reminded me in Euphoria is that it's kind of interesting that this real life couple kind of tackle drug addiction in two kind of different ways, but both well. I think that they were able to act in such a genuine way. When you see this movie, I mean, you really think Tom Holland is like a drug addict.
Oh, wow.
Really intense. I mean, the movie goes by really quickly. I just like event after event that occurs. And it's interesting because you hear about post-traumatic stress disorder and how people try to take care of it or treat it. But you don't see how like easily someone's life can be turned upside down. And if they take drugs to try to self-medicate and how that just turns into a nightmare and how it impacts their relationships, their families, all of that. And so really good movie. It was really artistically made. There are some really cool shots and the way it's actually filmed is really interesting, but top-notch acting by Tom Holland. He does a great job in it.
It's good to hear. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't want to see him, I guess, typecast into like an action star role, right? With like, of course, Spider-Man and what was the other film he just did with Mark Wahlberg, based on a video game. I can't remember it now, but he was also in that sort of, type of role. So it's good to see him spread his wings or his acting chops. So I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's really good. I recommend it. It's based off of a book, so I'm going to actually check out the book. That book apparently was really like widely recognized and got some great reviews. Obviously, they made it into a movie, so I'll read the book and then I'll let you guys know how it compares to the film adaptation of it.
Okay. I think a couple surprises for me for this year's kicking off the award season was the best song was the RRR Nod to, I think is what it's called, from the film RRR, which I started watching. It's a 3-hour long movie. So I started watching it and I'll have to revisit it. I know people rave about it, but it was hard to get into for me. So I'll have to give it another go when I have a big window to check it out in.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I've gotten some really, really strong recommendations to watch it. But I can't necessarily speak to the song because I haven't heard it. But Bollywood consistently, I think, puts out some really good songs. Like they like the Indian like genre of music or film scores. Like they typically have like very dramatic lyrics and like it's really fast beat and dramatic and It almost has like a hip hop, like you can kind of like bob to it or whatever. And so I could see that like they would get some recognition for that, because I definitely do like the film scores for Indian movies. In particular, there's one in the beginning of Ghost World. If you've seen that movie, it's actually based on a comic, and it has Thora Birch in it. And one of her favorite films has a little scene that they show, and it's a Bollywood film, and the song is so catchy, and so like you want to just dance along to it. Even
so I saw cool. a clip. I guess they were doing a screening of the movie in some theater, I think in Hollywood, and when that song came on, someone was filming, and it showed everyone in the theater got up and was dancing. So nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Outside of the awards show, or
I was going to say one more thing about award season. It feels like the movie Tar is going to be the most awarded movie that no one's seen yet, outside of like critics. Because I don't know if I haven't talked to anyone that's seen the actual movie yet. So I mean, I want to see it. I mean, Cate Blanchett's phenomenal, so I want to see what she does in the film. But it's like, wow, it's winning all these awards, but I don't know anyone who's seen it.
It kind of reminds me of when Chloe Zhao was winning like awards. What was that movie, Nomadland? Or Nomad?
Yeah, that was a good movie.
I don't know anyone that saw it, but everyone loved it. I didn't even know that Cate Blanchett had a movie out called Tar. I don't know what it's about. She is a great actress.
Yeah.
And so I really do like anything that she does. So I'm sure she's great in it.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Okay, now you can move on from award season if you want.
I've been trying to, but some co-host is trying to keep us on.
I'm trying to reel you back in.
So I did see another film this weekend that isn't necessarily like the newest film. It's called The Breaker Uppers, which I thought was a really clever comedic premise. But these two women run a business about receiving clients that want to break up with their loved ones and don't know how to do it. So they help them by pretending to be like the other woman, pretending to be a constable, saying that they're dead or they're missing, like really outlandish, crazy stuff. It's really funny that the two leads are kind of just genius, hilarious. The other cast members are really, really funny. And it's kind of silly because it's a comedic premise that's kind of outlandish, so it's not very realistic, but it's really funny, and it's kind of interesting to see a movie with people from New Zealand, because we don't often get to see films that have casts outside of America. So I really like to embrace those type of movies. So if you are into comic or comedic movies, definitely check it out, because it was really funny.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the trailer for it. It looks really good. They're a comedy duo that they wrote, directed, and starred in this movie. So kudos to them.
They kind of remind me of like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, like that kind of or like, the female duos that just like you can tell they have a great relationship and just like vibe off of each other. And the whole story, like the whole theme of the movie is really like kind of their sisterhood and them being really close and like their best friends. And so I could see like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler making a movie like this. It very much within the vein of their comedy style.
It reminded me when I saw it of the Kristen Wiig movie, something about Del Mar, where she wrote with her comedy duo, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's another one of those, funny comedy movies. Stars the two women that wrote it also star in it. So that's another one to go check out if you're into that.
Yeah, I think I saw parts of it when I was in Hawaii and couldn't get into it because I think that there was something about it that I just like one of the characters was really off-putting to me. I agree. Like it is very much like that, which is really fun to watch comedic duos because the way they bounce off of each other. I love those kind of films, like where they have, two characters that are going through whatever life has to show them, and they kind of attack it together. It's pretty to watch. So.
I watched a comedy as well this weekend. It's called The Menu Not sure if you've seen it. No, I know you've seen it. No, it's not a comedy.
Oh, okay.
It was so when you not reviewed it, when you gave us your take on it, you didn't spoil it, which I appreciate because I didn't really go into it. I went into it not knowing what it was about. So my whole thought was it was going to be something similar to The Freshman, the movie with Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick, where they think they're eating exotic animals, but it's actually just chicken. So that's what I thought it was going to be like. Maybe they're eating humans or something like that. But wow, did it blow me away? I was completely surprised by it, and it was great. Anya Taylor-Joy was awesome in the movie. I think she stood out for me. Nicholas Hoult was also very good. I mean, the characters they had time to develop and get their personality in such a short, limited time. Seeing his name just escaped me. Ralph Fiennes and John Leguizamo. Yes, John Leguizamo. Seeing him in there, that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting to see him. I was like, hey. And then he plays an actor who's kind of like on, the trail end of his career. And just seeing that was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I really liked that movie. It was really good.
So now that you've seen it, I can spoil it. But the thing that really kind of just perturbed me is the scene where like they're getting dressed up as s'mores and the characters are like, well, sure, go ahead, light me on fire. Like, who would do, like, it's so stupid. Like, it was, visually it was so dumb. Them putting like marshmallows on their head.
They put marshmallow jacket on and a chocolate hat. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was so dumb. Like, and the crime that Judith Light's character committed is not remembering what she ate last time she was at the restaurant. Really? That's why you killed her?
Well, I guess the whole thing is, so for me, it was like, okay, so the sous chefs with Ralph Fiennes, they were like a cult, basically, right? So they brainwashed and they followed and did whatever this head chef wanted them to. And he was just a sicko, right? It was all mastermind behind him. He was just ready to die. And it was strange. I mean, it was weird, but it was also really good. I enjoyed it. I did like it. I thought it was cool.
I can't. I agree that Anya Taylor-Joy, it was really good in it. The like it was like totally irrelevant to me. The characters that they created, like John Leguizamo, like, oh, it's because I saw a movie and I didn't like it of yours.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was killing him. Like, and then why his assistant?
Because she was leaving him.
Yeah, no, it's so dumb. It just
no, I agree. It is.
And then they let the guys run off to capture them to bring them back for no reason. There's no it just because the plot is so thin. There's nothing for them to do. Like, whatever, an hour and 50 minutes, or however long it was. So they have to. Okay, what else could? Oh, Anya Taylor-Joy finds like a radio, but the crazy hostess is there and tries to kill her, and then she. It just it's just dumb. It just and the guy, the Navy guy that comes to like
the Coast Guard dude, yeah, he was part of it, yeah.
So like the Coast Guard is in on it, or like he was pretending to be the Coast Guard. Like, it was just dumb. It was. I think that there would have been an interesting way to show like the cult of personality when it comes to like famous chefs and how young people who aspire to their success will do anything for them. I think that like that might have been an interesting movie of like, you have to come to this island and show 100% like you will do anything for him. You live in these like camps, like certain people will like get kicked off, whatever. That might have been interesting, and only the top like rise to be his sous chef or whatever. But this whole thing about him having some sort of like morality issue with the people that are eating his food, him deserving to die. It's just so, and the fact, and they made his mom like an alcoholic that's just there drunk for no reason.
Yeah, no, I get you. I completely understand your grievances with it, and I agree with them. I just thought it was one of those things, it was just like, it was, I guess maybe it was so overly satirical that it was funny to me. Like, it was like, when something's so bad, I just laugh about it. It's like, okay, why the heck did that guy shoot himself? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? It's just like there's no point to it. There's no reason for it, and I was just enjoying it.
Yeah. It just there's so many parts of it that I'm like are unnecessary. Like the Nicholas Hoult character, if he revered that cook so much, then why would he take his camera out when they said you can't take pictures? Like he would be like the guy. I mean, and he ended up like being that guy that dies that like for the chef, and it doesn't make sense that he would be like, oh, like I love him, but screw him. I'm going to take pictures so I can show it on Pinterest or whatever. It just to me, it was just like it. I think it was successful because of like people not knowing what it was about and then having a great cast.
Yeah,
and then
that's true.
Walking out like, meh, I don't know. I don't know anyone that like truly loved it. I know a couple people that have hated it and then a few people that have liked it. So I don't know. I guess job well done for that.
To each his own, right? Yeah. I also watched, I started up a series on Hulu called Fleischman is in Trouble. It stars Jesse Eisenberg. Who else is in it? Claire Danes is in it. Lizzie Kaplan, and a host of other supporting characters. But it's basically about Jesse Eisenberg's character, Toby Fleischman, when him and his wife Claire Danes go through a divorce, and it's just a really, I don't know, it really hooked me in. So it has like gave me like Stranger Than Fiction vibes because there's like a narrator that's basically telling the story. And it was just so good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm on like the first 2 episodes, I think. And it's just really fun to watch. And it reminds me how cool Lizzie Kaplan is and everything that she's been in. And I really enjoy seeing her back on the screen.
Remind me who Lizzie Kaplan is. What is she been in?
She was in... So Fleischman is in Trouble. She's in that. She was also in... Freaks and Geeks. She was in Smallville. She was in Hot Tub Time Machine. Now You See Me. She was in Mean Girls. Lots of things. But I mean, she's never really been like, I think, like the lead. But she's always been, her role and her persona and personality has always stood out to me.
Cool. I will have to check that out. There are a couple new shows that are starting in series. One premiered last night on HBO Max. I think it's The Sum of Us. Have you heard of it? I think it's based off of a video game or
Last of Us. Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks fantastic really with Pedro Pascal.
To go see it. I'm not a video game, so I have no idea what it's about as far as the video game. But it looks like it's really interesting, so I definitely want to check it out. Didn't get to see it when it premiered last night, but I will check it out.
Yeah, it looks really good. From what I've heard, it's pretty true to the video game story. So I thought it was a film at first. So to see that it's a series, I don't know if I'm happy about that or not. I mean, happy that they get to dive in deeper to the more of the plot lines and extend it out. But also, sometimes I like when it's a film and it's self-contained, within a 2-hour bubble.
Yeah, I think the best of both worlds for me is something like an American Horror Story, where it's a series, but it has a beginning and an end. And so then, like, if it's really good, I like that I get 12 episodes of it. And if it's really bad, like, okay, it's done. It's, you have to worry about it. But series that like stretch out, like I just realized that Walking Dead is still on the air, and they're on like episode like 5,000. I'm just like, there's no way I can get into that.
I think they had their final season already, or it finally ended, or it will be ending. I lost track of it after season 7 or so.
I was looking at. I mean, maybe it's just that the season is on streaming services now, but I was like shocked by the season number and then like episode number, and I was like, about zombies. Like, you mean that many episodes about living in a world?
Well, like, that's the thing. I think after like season 7, I think, or so, when I lost track, is because it was no longer about the interaction with zombies. It was more about the man versus man component of it, which to me, it was like, I don't really want to see that. I want to see the zombies.
Yeah. And they've had spin-offs, right? Like the what's this? I don't know. They have a spinoff, so it's just like it's too much. Like,
yeah, I think there's 2 spinoffs. There's like Fear the Walking Dead, which is like the zombie apocalypse happening, but in a Los Angeles on the West Coast.
yeah,
And then there's also another one, like I forgot the name of it, but it's like 2 years after the zombie has happened. So where are they at now? So it's like, how do they living in that world?
it's too much. But that's why I'm saying, like, I kind of like a story that just begins and ends in like maybe 12 seasons. So you do get a sense of like really getting into that world and get a lot your money's worth. Like whereas a movie, it's like it's over. If you really like it, you have to wait for a sequel. I do like 12 episodes of something that's really good, but then I like that it's over. I don't want to revisit it. I don't want to spin off. Like I just want it to end. Like
that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Then American Horror Story does a good job of that because each season is a different self-contained book, so to speak, right?
Yeah, they do relate to each other, and there's characters that are are within multiple seasons, and also actors. But you can just watch like Coven from beginning and end and be satisfied with it.
Yeah,
you don't have to watch before or after, which I really like. So
cool. Well, speaking of waiting for sequels, this blew my mind because I had heard talks about it from Nick Kroll and others a couple months ago, but they released a trailer for History of the World Part 2, the Mel Brooks sequel for History of the World Part 1. And I am just super excited. It's always been one of my favorite Mel Brooks films. And it's not one of his most popular, like Blazing Saddles or Young Frankenstein, but it's just always really touched with me. And I always quote like, "Oh, it's good to be the king," and stuff like that in like everyday use almost. So seeing the sequel to it and the amount of star power that's going to be in this 4-night event is just phenomenal.
So I've only seen really 2 Mel Brooks movies, and they're the ones that are like not popular or well known, like Spaceballs.
That's popular.
Well, yeah, it is, but I mean, it's not Blazing Saddles. Like, it's not his best film, supposedly. And then I think I saw this other one recently. I don't remember if it's called To Be or Not to Be. Does that ring a bell? It's like about this Polish actor or acting troupe, and then like the Nazis come in, and a bunch of stuff happens. But it was pretty funny. It was the first time that I've really seen like a Mel Brooks movie as an adult. And so, okay, like I get it. Like he's one of the funniest parts of it that like cracks me up is that the Nazis are like, throwing bombs down or whatever, dropping bombs. And the cast of the theater group is like running out of the theater, like down into the basement so that they don't die. And you have as they're running, one stops and he's like Christian or Catholic, and he does like the sign of the cross. And then like a Jewish guy stops and he does this. And I like never like saw someone do that before. That was hilarious. It was like make the Star of David. It was so he does it so quickly, like a lot better than obviously I just did right now. But it was so like it literally cracked me up to see that. I was like, that needs to like everyone needs to do that. That's so awesome.
I gotta find that movie now. I want to see that.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, I've seen lots of Mel. Oh yeah, it is To Be or Not to Be. This. I've seen like History of the World. What else? Robin Hood Men in Tights, The Producers, all sorts of stuff. I have to look that one up. That sounds fun.
It's pretty funny. Anne Bancroft is in it. She plays his wife. The reason for the title is that she gets a military lover, like some like U.S. guy is in the audience. So whenever Mel Brooks says To Be or Not to Be, that's his cue to like get up and walk and go in backstage to meet the wife. And so like that's like the running joke is that every time he says To Be or Not to Be, someone walks out, and from his mind, he's not thinking, oh, someone's cheating on my, with me or with his wife on him. He's thinking, why is someone walking out on it? Like he's totally narcissistic and thinking, why is this guy walking out on me? And so it's really funny. It's really good. Some of the actors, like I'm shocked to see them so young because I've only seen them as like really old actors, and then to see them as young man, I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that surprising? Like like watching an older film that you know who the actor's in it, but then you see them and they look like babies. And it's like, wow, they look so, I don't remember what movie it was recently I was watching, but that happened. And I think it was like Brad Pitt or something, like one of his first roles, and seeing him so young, it's like, wow, so fresh faced is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was weird to see people. So this is, I was going to bring, I don't know if I wanted to bring this up or not, but so, the thing with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, they're fighting for, all kinds of different stuff. But one of the accusations is that he was physical with one of his children, possibly.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that part. Okay.
Yeah, abusive, whatever. So during the Golden Globes, many people stopped and were like, oh, Brad Pitt. Hey, Brad Pitt. Oh my God, I can't believe Brad Pitt's right here. Like, so many people were like calling him out and like pretending like, he's Hollywood. He's such a big star. And the one person that didn't, so Salma Hayek came out with, I don't know who, I think the actor is from In the Shadows or What We Do in the Shadows, that movie, that show. So he comes out and he's like fawning over Brad Pitt, and she kind of like looks over and rolls her eyes because she's good friends with Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
And I thought, because there's always this talk about like Hollywood protecting their own. And I was like, I wonder if they told the actors to do that, because it was so many actors coming out and saying, oh my God, Brad Pitt, like, I can't believe Brad Pitt, and to kind of like make him popular again. Or to like kind of shine the light on him in my eyes, because he has received so much negative press regarding, his kids saying that like they got physical with him. So it was really interesting to me to see that, and me wondering, was that Hollywood trying to protect their own? And if so, why would they choose to protect Brad Pitt and not Angelina Jolie?
Good questions.
Like, is that a show of how, men still run Hollywood? How, when a woman is potentially a victim of, abuse, or her children are, that we automatically take the side of the man. I mean, it almost reminds me of Johnny Depp and Amber.
Heard.
What was that? Heard. Yeah, I almost called her Amber Valletta, which is a supermodel. But and how like the majority, it seems like, took Johnny Depp's side, and it's like, okay, here we have another, and I would hate to see Angelina Jolie get treated in that, because she, from her like humanitarian work, has done so much and is such a great actress. Had so much fame before him, so you cannot ever say, she used Brad Pitt or was trying to get fame or any of that type of stuff. And so it kind of grossed me out. It was kind of like cringy to see these like actors fawning over him. Like, to be honest, if I saw him like on the street, I don't know if I would even be like, not that I like, even before the Angelina Jolie stuff, he's just not a big deal to me. Like, I don't know. Like, would you like ask for an autograph or stop or like be impressed that you saw Brad Pitt?
I don't think I'd be impressed if I saw him.
Yeah.
Because that's just like, I mean, if I had some sort of interaction with him, not asking for an autograph, I don't know, that's kind of weird. But, maybe just like a little back and forth. Maybe we're both standing in line to get some coffee or something, and struck up a little chit chat. Yeah, I'd be in awe. I mean, I guess not knowing the full extent of these charges against him, when I saw the headline that basically said that Hollywood was glossing over the fact of what he did. So basically, like you said, they were trying to lift him up, put a shine or a dimmer on those accusations. So, but not knowing that, I think it'd be very fun. I mean, here's someone who's been in the limelight for a long time, right? And who, I appreciate his acting chops. I appreciate him as an actor. I appreciate what he's done for that. So I would be in awe a little bit. Sure. Starstruck, I guess.
Yeah, he doesn't, to me, like, if I were to compare, Angelina Jolie just has like, is so charismatic and so Hollywood. Like, I don't know, like Brad Pitt.
Definitely, yeah.
I loved him in Interview with the Vampire, but I think that was the only thing that I really watched that I was really a big fan of his. And I mean, I'm not besmirching him or like saying that he's not a Hollywood star, because he obviously is, but he's just not someone that I've ever worshipped or adored or anything. Not saying that you do, but you know what I'm saying? Like someone that I'm like, oh my God, Brad Pitt. Like he's not. Angelina Jolie, like the year that she was at Comic-Con for the first time, like I was like legit trying to get out of work so I could go down. She just is amazing. But yeah, I was curious what your thoughts would be, because I thought that it was rather interesting that more than one actor came out and did that whole song and dance.
Oh, really?
And I was curious if you thought, maybe they have the same agent, or maybe they're, some connection where they're trying to help him out by like, hey, oh my God, remember everyone, he's a great actor, he's a great star.
Maybe, I mean,
none of it.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I look at like when you were talking about Angelina Jolie being Hollywood and graceful, and I was thinking to the movie Inglourious Bastards, which had Brad Pitt as army man, and he was pretending, he went to like the film premiere at the end of the movie dressed up in a tux with the actress, right? And so how he was like not at her level at all. So that's what I kind of like, the reference that you said kind of went into my head, was that type of vibe there.
Yeah. I take it back. That was a second movie that I really liked him in. He was great in that film.
Yeah, I that film is one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I still haven't been able to watch. What's it? It Happened in Hollywood, or Once Upon a Time
in Hollywood. Yeah, that's a great. You haven't seen it yet?
I can't. I started watching it, and I'm not a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
And Brad Pitt's in it, right? Too.
Yeah. So he plays like his stunt double. Yeah.
I am somewhat consistent with people that I don't like. So I just can't get into them. I don't know. Like I watched it where they're talking at a restaurant or something. I don't know. And I was just like, nah. But I know that it's something that I just need to force myself into watching, and I'll probably like it. But I have to get over that hump of like the beginning of the movie where it's just like them talking, and it just seemed really boring.
Yeah, no, go watch it. I mean, Margot Robbie's great in it, so watch it for her.
Yeah. All right. I'll have to check out
Well, right on. I think I want to tease a little bit for our next episode. We're going to have a special guest on. He's a comic book writer, a novelist who was part of our Latin Excellence Writers Roundtable. So it's exciting that we're going to have him on to dive a little deeper into what he's got coming up. So look forward to that, everyone. We appreciate all of your support. And I should have asked you, do you have anything else you want to get off your chest this week?
No, I bitched enough.
Well, right on. Well, everyone out there, be sure to like us, subscribe to us if you haven't already, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Go give us a rating on the Apple Podcast app or Spotify if you haven't done so yet. Just, takes all of 2 seconds to click five stars.
And also send us your recommendations for like books, comic books, artists, movies, musicians. Like I would love to be able to use this podcast as a means to like put the spotlight on maybe people who aren't necessarily in the limelight right now. A lot of like really cool comic book creators are out there that are not working for like the top 3, that are doing self-publishing. Also like indie musicians, songwriters, things like that. So if there's anyone you really love that you would love to get like a little bit of a spotlight. We don't have a huge spotlight, but would love to be able to share our venue to be able to get them some more views or likes or listens or reads or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. We like supporting and lifting everyone up. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Bye.